Study by the Kaiser Family Foundation is changing this. Joining us now to discuss the report's finding, Odysseas Papadimitirou, who is the CEO of WalletHub.com. Odysseas, can you hear me okay today? Hello, Odysseas.
Thanks for having me.
Yes, it's good to have you. Ta-da. You know, coming off that July 4th assessment, we've come
hey guys,
through the holiday.
I can hear your internal people talking.
Can you hear us okay?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Good.
Okay, good.
We're going to try to get to this, and we do appreciate your time, Odysseas. The Kaiser Family Foundation report finds that over 50% of private plan enrollees were previously uninsured. Were you surprised by these numbers?
Hey, JD, I'm really sorry, but someone else talking.
Fair enough. I tell you what, Odysseas, we will try to fix that. Our apologies to you. It's really unfair to put Odysseas in that situation, but Miranda, it gives us a chance to talk in general, not only about Obamacare, but about our friends at WalletHub.com. Our friends at WalletHub have found, as we say in the business, a hook in terms of taking issues of concern. Last week, it was the 4th of July.
Right.
Rating.
Which was a little difficult for you. But, you know, a spoonful of sugar helps the medicine go down, right?
So to speak, we're mixing metaphors with Obamacare, but sometimes when I get with Odysseas, I have to say, okay, now what's your method for assessment of some of these things? And last week on July 4th, it was community swimming pools that were open and accessibility to a different kind of watering hole and stuff for adult beverages. It was a pretty interesting standard.
Right. We're talking about the top places in case you weren't joining us during that time.
And the other thing, when she said it was a little tough for me, it's because, well, though I represented Arizona in Congress, 5 of the cities that he called among the 100 worst in the United States.
For 4th of July, not horrible states.
Just celebrating the 4th of July. 5 of those cities were from my native North Carolina. Now, he did point out that Glendale, Arizona, a suburb of Phoenix, was one of the greatest places to spend July 4th.
So we kind of,
we've evened that out. And apparently we have now worked out our problems via Skype. So once again, we welcome in Odysseas Papadimitirou. Odysseas, can you hear us a little better now?
Yeah, this is perfect. Thank you very much.
Oh, good.
Good. Well, let's talk some about what's going on in terms of the insured and Obamacare. You talked about the Kaiser Family Foundation finding that over 50% of private plan enrollees were previously uninsured. Were you surprised by that?
Yeah, well, there have been a lot of different estimates on that, and that's the key number to estimate the success of Obamacare. The administration is quoting a number over 80%. There are other estimates in the 30% range. And when the Kaiser Family Foundation came out with their estimate and their methodology, we felt at the Wallet Hub that was the best estimate provided to date. And so we felt we had enough data to provide initial projections to consumers about which states are doing the best job in reducing uninsured and which states are not.
All right, Odysseas, let's talk about those states. Wallet Hub is offering a projection of uninsured rates post-Obamacare. Take us through the top 5 states, if you could.
Sure. So number 1 is, and it's important also to note that we did this study for the 50 states plus the District of Columbia, but for 7 states, we had data limitations, so those states were excluded. But within the remaining 44, number 1 was Massachusetts, which has virtually eliminated uninsured residents, and it's down to 1% uninsured rate. Number 2 is Rhode Island. Number 3 is the District of Columbia. Number 4 is Hawaii. And number 5 is Oregon, which after West Virginia, had the biggest reduction in uninsured people. Oregon went from almost an uninsured rate of 17% down to 6.4%.
Now, this is kind of curious, and maybe you can unpack this for me, Odysseas, because you mentioned those states. Number 1 on the list you have as Massachusetts. Now, what was called Romney Care an effort to make sure everyone was insured. That was put in place some years ago within the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. You also mentioned Oregon. And even though much was made of a failure to see a lot of signups in Oregon, there has been a type of aggressive stance in that state with the notion when it comes to spending public dollars. I would call it almost state-sponsored triage, where the state of Oregon lists the maladies, the diseases, the conditions, and has a formula for allocating resources to those areas. So arguably those two states had an infrastructure in place already. Is that the same case with the states 2 through 4 also in that group you just pointed out?
I don't think so. So, for example, you're absolutely correct about Massachusetts. Massachusetts had the lowest uninsured rate coming into this, with being a little bit over 4.3%. And it reduced it further by another 3% and came down to 1%. Oregon, on the other hand, had a significant problem with uninsured people being close to 17%, one of the highest in the country. And I'm not sure exactly of the state specifics, but they had, followed by West Virginia, the second biggest reduction, and they got this number 5 position. But they dropped an insurance rate by more than 10 percentage points, which was a big difference.
Well, Odysseas, we continue to try to take stock of Obamacare and figure out exactly how this all works out. We thank you and the folks at walletHub.com for your contributions to try and put together this puzzle in the aftermath of some numbers that have not readily come from government or other sources. So we thank you for Skyping in today from Washington, D.C.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for your patience. We really appreciate that.
And we'd love to hear your comments. Is Obamacare just what your doctor ordered? Why don't you tweet us your remarks at Newsmax TV, #America's Forum, and we're coming right back.